Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi to everyone who's watching this video. So in this video we are going to learn chapter 7, graphs of motion in mathematics, KSSM form 4. Okay, so today in this video what are we going to focus? Okay, so these are our learning objectives. We are going to focus on distance time graph. Okay, graph jarak masa. Alright, so the learning objectives in this video are, we are going to draw distance time graph, okay, and then we are going to interpret distance time graph and describe the motion based on the graph, and lastly we are going to solve problems involving distance time graph. Okay, so these are the 3 learning objectives in this video. So let's start. Before we go further in this topic, these are the required basic mathematics skills that you have to remember and you have to know before we go further. Alright, so the first one adalah formula for speed. Okay, distance travel over time taken. Okay, untuk mencari laju, jarak bahagi dengan masa. And then distance, to get distance from the first formula, we're going to have speed times time taken is equal to distance. And the last one is average speed is equal to total distance traveled over total time taken. So these are the 3 basic formula, 3 basic information that we have to know before we go further in this topic. So let's check out how to draw distance time graph. Okay, so these examples here I got from textbook page 184. Okay, so in this question it asks, Azri wants to be a track cyclist and hopes to make Malaysia well known in the world like Azizul Hasni Awang. Okay, and then the table shows the distance, okay, and the time taken by Azrin during the training. So here in the table we have time in minutes and the distance in kilometer. So the question asks to draw a distance time graph based on the table. Okay, so to draw a graph, the first thing that we have to have is that the data. Okay, sebelum kita lukis graph, benda pertama yang kita kena ada adalah data lah. But in this question we already have the data, so we continue in drawing the distance time graph. Okay, so from the data given, okay, always check the given values and data. Okay, the given here is time in minutes and distance in kilometers. So in drawing graph, there are 4 important steps, which are, the first, we have to draw axis and label the axis, okay, based on the data given here. And then we have to choose suitable scales based on the values from the given table. Okay, so from the values here you can see the difference between the time is 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, and then the difference between the distance is 10 km, 10 km, 10 km. So from the given values we choose a suitable scales, and then as usual we plot the points and then join the points using ruler if it is a straight line. Okay, if not then we just draw hand drawing. Okay, so let's start the first step, which is drawing axis and label. So in distance time graph, okay, we have 2 axes, okay, the vertical and the horizontal one. Alright, and the vertical should be distance and the horizontal should be time. Okay, and then we put the scales and then we put the scales. Alright, so for distance time graph, always remember the vertical axis should be distance and the horizontal should be time. Okay, so I already scaled here according to the given values, and then plot the points according to the values. As you can see, 0, 0, 30 and 10, 60 and 20, 90 and 30, and the last one 120 and 40. So plot the points, and lastly we are going to join the points using a ruler. So we have a straight line. So this is our graph for this example. Okay, so just remember the basic things, and always remember the axis, the vertical is for distance and the horizontal is for time. Okay, and so now we are going to learn more on the quantity represented by the graph over graph. In here we have distance time graph. Okay, so as you can see here, as I told you before, the quantity on the vertical axis is the distance, okay, and then the quantity on the horizontal axis is the time. Okay, and then if we recall back gradient, how to find gradient of a graph? If you can recall back, the gradient of a graph is actually equal to, if you can remember, m, okay, I write down here, m, which is gradient, is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, if you still can remember. So y2 minus y1 means the change in distance, because here the value of y in our y-axis is distance. So y2 minus y1 is actually change in distance, and x2 minus x1, which is the value of x here, which is time. So change in time. So the gradient for this graph is actually the change in distance over the change in time. So based on the formula that we already recalled just now, change in distance over change in time is actually speed. So therefore, the quantity represented by the gradient of the graph is the rate of change of distance, or in other words, it is called as speed. Okay, speed and rate of change of distance are actually two same things. Okay, yang berbezanya adalah the term that we use. Rate of change of distance maksudnya kadar perubahan jarak. So speed adalah laju, and both are the same things. And for this graph, the unit will be kilometer per hour because our distance is in kilometer and our time is in hour. Okay, so if you want to know the unit, we have to refer to the given data in the graph. Okay, so that's the first thing that you have to know, which is the gradient of a distance time graph is equal to the speed, based on the formula that we have already learned before. Okay, so now in this diagram, it is show the distance graph of a car travels from P to point Q. Okay, so based on this graph, how are we going to describe the motion? Okay, so let's start with the first motion here, A to B. So from A to B, it is a straight line, okay, with a positive gradient. So it actually indicates the car moving at a constant speed. Okay, so for distance time graph, when we see a positive gradient here, that means the object is moving with constant speed. And then from B to C, it is a vertical line, horizontal line, in which indicates that the car is at rest, because here the distance doesn't change. If the distance here is 10 km, so at B is 10 km, at C is also 10 km. So the distance doesn't change, therefore we can say that the car is at rest. And then from C to D, another positive gradient, which means the car moving at constant speed, but a slower constant speed compared to AB, because the gradient in CD is lower than gradient in AB. Gradient in AB is higher. Okay, kecerunannya lebih tinggi kan dalam AB ni berbanding CD. So therefore, the speed in CD is slower than AB. And lastly, from D to E, it is a negative gradient. Okay, if you can still remember, this line shows a negative gradient, which indicates that the car travel from point Q back to point P. So maksudnya kita buat patah balik. So here is from the situation given here is actually kita tahu dia travel from point P to point Q. Okay, so meaning here is point P and here is point Q. Here is not Q. Point P going to Q. Here is Q. So daripada P dia bergerak, okay, with a constant speed, and then rest for a while, and then continue with a constant speed, and then we reach Q. And then from Q we going back to P. So here is also P. So for a negative gradient in distance time graph doesn't means that you move with a negative speed. Okay, but that means that you do U-turn, okay, patah balik. Okay, you are travel back from the point to the starting point. So let's see another example here. Alright, so here the gradient can be determined by choosing 2 points on the line. So for example here, okay, if you want to find the gradient, what are we going to do? Okay, so let's choose the point A and B. And so from the point A and B, we already have the value, which to find the gradient, first is BC. Okay, the difference in BC, y2 minus y1. Okay, so 300 minus 0 divided by 4 minus 0, and so we get 75, and it is a positive value, meaning that the speed of the particle is 75 km per hour. Okay, so this is another example here, also finding the gradient of distance time graph. Okay, but to find this gradient, let's see, we choose point B and C. So the gradient will be this one. I take AB, AC. Okay, which is 0. Okay, here the point here is 0, 4, 0, and here the point is 0, 40. so 0 minus 40 over 4 minus 0. Okay, so y1 minus y2 over x2 minus x1, okay, is equal to, we have a negative value here. Okay, but always remember, there in speed there is no negative value. But what does it mean by this negative value? Negative value indicates that the James travelled at a constant speed of 10 km per hour, but the negative gradient indicates that the distance decreases with respect to time, which means James is going backward, okay, from point B to point C. Okay, doesn't mean that James moved with negative speed. Okay, negative gradient in this graph means that is going backward. Okay, so let's say here, okay, for the first 44 seconds, another example, distance time graph. Okay, the movement of the object is represented by the straight line OA, in which here, if you want to find the gradient will be, yes, as we learned before, 40 minus 0 over 4 minus 0. Okay, y2 minus y1 here, the point here will be 4, the coordinate is 440, and here the coordinate will be 0, 0. So y2 minus y1, 40 minus 0, divided by x2 minus x1, which is 4 minus 0. So we have a positive gradient, which the value is 10 meter per second, because here the distance is in meter and the time is in second. So therefore the unit is meter per second. Okay, so indicates that the speed of the object in the first 4 seconds is 10 meter per second. And then from A to B, okay, the distance is the same. Therefore, if you want to find the gradient, let's say if you want to find the gradient, we have 0, because y2 minus y1. y2 is 40, y1 is also 40. So y2 minus y1 is 0. Thus the speed of the object is 0, and the period of time when the object is stationary is 4 seconds. That means the object is stationary at this point. So this indicates that the object is at rest, or in other words, it is stationary. Okay, dia tak bergerak, kekal di situ for 4 seconds. Last one, from B to C, which is the last 2 seconds, as you can find the gradient, we will have 0 minus 40 divided by 10 minus 8. And so we have a negative gradient, which is negative 20 meter per second. But remember, the speed is 20 meter per second. Don't leave your answer in negative values, because negative values indicates that the object is going backward. Okay, so let's see example. Okay, here is given the graph. Okay, the distance line graph shows the movement of an object for a period of 15 seconds. Okay, so the question asks you to find the first one, A, its speed in the first 6 seconds. So how are we going to find the speed in the first 6 seconds? And question B, the speed in the last 3 seconds. And C, the period of the time when the object is stationary. And D, the average speed for the whole journey. So okay, speed in the first 6 seconds. So how are we going to find the speed? Okay, so to find the speed, we have to look at the gradient. Okay, so the gradient, then we have to indicate 2 points that we are going to use to find the gradient. So here, we will use a point here, which is the coordinate is 6, 24, and then a coordinate here, which is 0, 6. Therefore, the gradient will be, so the gradient will be 24 minus 6 over 6 minus 0, in which we will have 24 minus 6 is 18 over 6, which is 2. So this, which is the speed in the last 3 seconds here. Okay, the red line here. Alright, so based on this example, to find the gradient is equal to 0 minus 24 over 15 minus 12, in which we have negative 24 over 3. And so we have answer negative 8. Okay, negative 8 meter per second. But don't leave your answer like this, because speed cannot be negative. So you have to write down back speed is equal to 8 meter per second. Always remember, negative indicates that the particles or the object is moving backward. Next one, question C. Question C, if you can recall back, it asks you to find the time in which the object is at stationary. So at stationary means you have to look at the horizontal line in the graph, which is here. So just find the difference in time, which is 6 until 12 seconds, which is 6 seconds. So the period of time when the object is stationary is from 6 to 12 seconds, which is the answer is 6 seconds, as we have 12 minus 6 is equal to 6 seconds. Okay, alright. Okay, so for the last one, the question asks to find the average speed for the whole journey. So for the whole journey, the average speed, okay, always remember the formula, total distance over total time. Okay, so that's the formula. Jumlah jarak bagi jumlah masa, must have total, okay, not distance over time. Distance over time sama dengan speed, but for average speed, total distance over total time. So from this graph, actually we already have the total time, which is 15. Okay, but the total distance we have to check from the first starting point until the end point here. Okay, so from the first going to 24, here start from 6 meter and then go into 24 meter. So from 6 to 24, here will be 18 meter. Okay, and then from here to here there will be 0, no moving. Okay, the distance is the same. And then from here, from the last 3 seconds, from 24 going back to 0 meter. So here the total distance is 24 meter. So for this question, the total distance traveled will be 18 plus 24 divided by total time taken, which is 15. And so we will have 42 over 15 meter per second, in which if we calculate using calculator, we will have 2.8 meter per second. So this is our answer for this question. Okay, so this is another example. The distance time graph shows the whole journey of Cik Temah from her house to the supermarket and back to her house. So that means here is the house and then going to the supermarket. So here is supermarket and then going back to the house. Okay, so the question asks you to find the period of time during which Cik Temah is at rest. Okay, so this one is very easy. Okay, and then calculate the speed of Cik Temah for the first 9 minutes, and then average speed in the first 32 minutes is given. Find the value of D, and the last one is calculate the average speed. So we will calculate the period during which Cik Temah is at rest. So when you see the word at rest, that means you have to find in which the line in the graph is horizontal. So here is the answer, in which we will have 15 minus 9, which is 6 seconds. So the period of time in which Cik Temah is at rest is 6 seconds. Okay. Then calculate the speed of Cik Temah the first 9 seconds. So the first 9 seconds is from here to here. Okay, the red line here. So as we already know, to find the speed for distance time graph, we find the gradient. So here, okay, we have gradient is 5, 6, 7, 0 over 6, and so we'll have the answer 5670 divided by 6 using calculator. We have the answer is 945. So the distance is meter per minute. Okay, alright, so that's the answer. And then the average speed is given for the first 32. Okay, so for the first 32 minutes only, so until here only is given. The average speed is 312.5 meter per minute. Find the value of D. So average speed, formula of average speed is total distance over total time taken. So 312.5 is equal to total distance from 0 minute until 32 minutes. So from here going here, which is already 5670, here to here is 0, and then from here to here is D minus 5670, or we can see that from here going straight to here is equal to D. Okay, so the total distance for the first 32 minutes is D over the total time taken is 32. Okay, and so we have the answer D is equal to 32 times with 312.5. So the answer will be 10,000 meter. Okay, if you want to do the distance, okay, let's say the distance that you are going to calculate is 5670 plus d minus 5670. We also have the same answer. The distance will be d. Okay, so therefore I just write d, because we know that from here to here total distance will be just equal to the maximum value, which is d, because the distance starts from 0 meter. Okay, so that's the solution. And then calculate the average speed of the whole journey. So average speed for the whole journey. Always remember to find the total distance over total time taken. So average speed is equal to total distance, which is from 0 to 32 minutes is d, which we already found the answer just now, 10,000, plus from 32 minutes to 47 minutes, which is also d, which is 10,000 over 47 minutes. So we have 20,000 divided by 47 minutes, and therefore the answer will be 20,000 divided by 47, which is equal to, if you calculate using calculator, the answer is 425.531914 and so on. So in mathematics, you just give the answer to 2 decimal places. So 425.53. Sorry, not enough space here, so I just write down the solution here, or maybe I should make it smaller. So 425.53 meter per minute. Okay, so that's the answer for the last one. So I think that's all from me. Okay, so stay tuned and don't forget, enjoy learning mathematics. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.